Hi, I'm Terry Brock. If you know me, you know I've been working with technology for quite a while and do a lot with social media. Recently, I had a wonderful interview with a couple of guys that I wanted to share with you that you could gain a lot of insights from. It was with Bob Dragone and John Moss over at Aqqolade, and that's AQQOLADE.com, Aqqolade. And we got a chance to talk about a number of things that can help you, like, for instance, communication, how that impacts leadership, how Skype uses technology, or at least we did when I was there, and what we did and how we use social media, some ideas that you can use right away, how the Japanese are working to achieve excellence, and the model that you can use in your own life for that. Also, we had some fun talking about Southwest Airlines, what Gary Kelly, as CEO, will need to know about that, and what Southwest Airlines is doing right with social media that other organizations, yours including, can go in there and start working with that. And a lot of things that are out there about social media, how to use it, practical use, and it's just, well, a whole lot of goodies packed in there for you to use. And so here's what I'd recommend. Take this, sit down with your whole team, and have a lunch and learn. Sit down, study what's going on, the kind of things that we talk about, and you'll be able to then stop it afterwards and talk about yourself, the kind of things that can help you. If I can help you out, please let me know. You can reach me on social media all over at Aqqolade.com. I'm available there through them. They can reach me as well as on Twitter at Terry Brock, and on Facebook, Marketer Terry Brock. You can reach me there, and all the normal platforms as well. Hey, I'll look forward to hearing from you. Sit back and enjoy this interview and help you to achieve the excellence that you want and need to achieve in social media.
Bob, we've got a great guest today.
Who we got today?
Well, we've got Terry Brock. He is a technologist and a social media expert and author and just an all-around great guy. So,
well,
Terry,
let me add to that, too, that Terry is one of our honored speaker experts.
That is correct. That is correct. So, Terry, welcome to the podcast.
Well, John and Bob, great to be with you today. Looking forward to this and honored to be here on this new podcast where I'm looking forward to hearing the kind of things that you're going to do, helping people, talking to a number of different speakers and experts. Thanks for having me on board.
Well, we're very honored to have you today. Welcome. And we also want to point out to our listeners, Terry, that one of the reasons we have you here today is that your expertise is something that everybody can benefit from. We note that you're a certified speaking professional, designation by the National Speakers Association, and that you are in the Speakers Hall of Fame. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I'm honored to be there. I think honor is all the way around here, but the idea of the excellence, and it's also comes with a CPAE, which stands for the Council of Peers Award of Excellence. And so for me, it's a way to make sure that I can measure up to helping provide value wherever I go. And I think that's the most important thing today that our listeners can focus on is whatever you're doing, always strive for excellence. Strive to be the very best at what you're doing and be able to help others. As you do that, you really ensure your higher ability, employability in the future, whatever happens in this crazy, wild world that's changing all the time.
But do you find that when you talk to people about that, that they really pick up on it, that they know that they can really strive for that excellence that you're putting before them, if you will?
Well, I think so. Each person sees it. I guess I've been over to Japan a few times, and I love the way the Japanese do things, that each person, whatever they're doing, whether they're making lunches for someone, or they're in a factory, or they're in an office, they strive to be the very best that they can be. They constantly are honing and constantly working to perfect themselves. And I find that type of excellence is what made America a great country, say back in the late 1900s particularly. People worked hard. They had freedom, they had the liberty to move and to get ahead. And we see today other countries in Southeast Asia, as well as China and many other places around the world, I think particularly Latin America, Central America, people are saying, what can we do to become better? And the information to do that now is more readily available because of the internet. The technology is making the knowledge available. You still have to work at it, though. You've got to work, you've got to pay the price.
Well, we know that you're a social media expert. So how do you portray this to your audiences?
Well, I think it's important to say, here's what is being done right now. Look at organizations that are doing well. Like, for instance, I had an opportunity to work with Skype as their chief enterprise blogger. And when I was doing that, one of the things we did is I would interview people, much like we're doing here, using Skype, of course, and talk about what they're doing right. And then we would take that, make it an interview that would be available to the world, and send it out through social media, through LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. The way we do it actually is like we'd say, okay, next Tuesday, for instance, at 12 o'clock Eastern time, we had everything set ready to go so that the message would go out. We'd have the interview on Skype's blog. It would be there ready to go as a post, and then it would hit at 12 noon, and then we would immediately have everything going out through Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn to tell a broader audience, encouraging people to share, so that we say, here's an example of somebody doing it right, and then get out there and toot the horn using social media. Social media is where people live today. And I'd say for those businesses that are watching this, realize that's where your customers are. And at any time in history, if you're going to do well in business, you need to hang out where your customers hang out. Today, that happens to be social media, so get to know it, learn it, and use it.
Exactly. It's not some fad that's going to go away. It's not some technology that's going to get replaced by something else, although the platforms may change, but the concept is there that, the walls are broken down, people are communicating in new ways, and, let's talk about that, Terry. Today's leaders, today's corporate leaders, how would you rate how they're using social media in general to communicate to shareholders, to their customers, to their people internally? How do you see the overall state of CEO corporate social media use?
Well, I think we're seeing it increase more and more, particularly among those that are doing things right and are doing well, and it reflects into the bottom line. I think of companies like, for instance, Southwest Airlines, or other airlines too, but particularly Southwest. They have people that are dedicated to monitoring what's going on Twitter. Because if someone is stranded in, say, in Boston and the flight isn't going out, they're going to probably send out a tweet on that. Hey, I'm on flight such and such and it was delayed, etc. What's going on with Southwest? Well, Southwest wants to know about that. So they catch it right away. They've got tools built in that flag it for them. So whenever somebody mentions SWA or Southwest or some permutation of a misspelling of that, they grab it. And they say, oh, we've got it. We're right on top of that. We know your flight has been delayed. Here's where the status is. The plane should be there in an hour or whatever. And also, and by the way, let's do something proactively. Here's a coupon for a drink, or we're going to do this. Or they are there letting people know we are aware of your pain. We know about it, and we are here to help you. That's a thing that smart leaders are doing. The dumb leaders, if I can be so crass, the dumb leaders are the ones who cover their ears and go, la, 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 I don't need to know about social media. You want to find out what people are saying, and you want to be there helping in a sincere, genuine way, because if you don't, you're not going to. But matter of fact, for my competitors, I want them to know social media is worthless. Do not use social media at all if you're my competitor. just stay away from it. Don't do it.
No.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Brought up Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
And it's true. They do have an excellent team that's out there monitoring and responding to mentions of their brand. And they're kind of using social media as another channel for customer service. Mm-hmm. But what about Gary Kelly, their CEO? What should he personally be doing with social media to enhance not only his own personal brand, but the brand of the company?
Taking it from the top.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Gary Kelly himself, I don't know him. I've never met him. I did meet Herb Keller and got a chance to meet Colleen Parker once, their former president. Wonderful people, by the way. I told Colleen, by the way, how I flew Southwest and I loved it all the time. She gave me a kiss. And I thought, wow, a dignified, wonderful lady like that, give me a kiss. It was great. And Herb Keller, just wonderful. Keller was a great guy.
We're going to be hearing from Southwest on this.
Yeah, they are. I love Southwest Airlines and fly them regularly all the time. But I think what Gary Kelly would do, if Gary Kelly were sitting across from me right now, first of all, I'd ask him what he is doing right now and find out. And I think for him, it's a much more of a listening exercise, that he's got a lot of things going on. Hey, he's a CEO of a big airline. He's got a lot going on. He doesn't have time to send out, here's a picture of my cat, or, here I am standing in line to get a hamburger. No, but listening. See, that's the most important thing. You can use social media to listen, to find out what are people saying. As a CEO of a company, whatever size, you want to have your ears wide open. I love the way Chris Brogan says it. You want to grow bigger ears. Think about how you can listen better, and using tools like Hootsuite or using Buffer app, tools like that, you can make sure that social media is an integral part of your strategy, because Again, that's where your customers are. And if you say, well, I'm not going to use something like Facebook, what? You don't like money? This is where people live. If you want to get more money, which I think is, when I went to business school, they told us that was important. And so you want to make sure that you're in tune with it, you're there, and you're listening. So for Gary Kelly, monitor what's going on, have regular reports coming to you from your people who are letting you know what's happening, interact in a way that's planned, like, for instance, let people know your thoughts on a given issue. Do
Do
that.
you think that this message is really seeping into the C-suite? How many senior executives really take advantage of this?
I think that more and more are. I don't have the exact numbers right now on what they're doing, but we know they're seeing it, and it's a bottom line issue. When it comes to bottom line, this affects our shareholder price, the stock price, then that gets their attention real fast, slapped upside the head with a 2x4. And they say, okay, we've got to pay attention to this. Now, it doesn't mean they have to do everything, but they do need to do something, largely writing articles. Like, for instance, LinkedIn has a wonderful tool called Publish, where you can send out quality articles that you would write on a regular basis. Do that. YouTube is fabulous. Carlos Ghosn did this, at Nissan did this a while back, because what he did, not with social media per se, but with video. There were rumors going around, oh, did you hear this is going to happen, or did you hear that's going to happen? And some of the rumors were true, most of them were not. What he did is he went out and had video that he put together for the employees, so they would know directly from him, here's what's going on. Now we can do that through YouTube, where you can go out, and the CEO, I feel, should regularly be out there saying, hey, hi, this is Gary Kelly, for instance, Gary Kelly with Southwest. Here's what's happening right now with Southwest. We're doing this. And if they have challenges, meet them face or head on. In other words, if there's something wrong or a shareholder price wasn't as good, just say, we might have had some disappointments, but we're going to address this. But also address the good. Southwest can come back, to use them again as a model. They could say, we're now offering service from Outers Lubuvia, a wonderful location that you need to take the whole family to visit. Outers Lubuvia is our newest location. So something like that, I think staying in touch and being as transparent as possible really helps in the day of social media.
Good points.
Yeah, and I like what you said about listening. So oftentimes people will just jump in and start posting without not really understanding who's out there listening to them, what they need, what they want. And Chris Brogan, who you mentioned, interesting, very interesting guy. Love his stuff. And if you've ever seen Chris in person at a conference or a show, it's very interesting to see, because he takes that listening to heart. And yes. I thought he would be one that would just be buried in his phone and tweeting constantly, but he puts all that stuff away, and he walks around with a notebook and a pencil, and he meets people, and he takes notes. He listens.
Management by walking around.
It's just a very interesting observation when I first met him at a conference, and to see that this guy was totally stripped of all his technology devices that you normally think of him using constantly, because that's how most of us connect with him.
Yeah, it's a very good point, John. I saw the same thing when I saw Chris, and he was just there as a real person, and I think that's the key. Social media is forcing CEOs and executives in the C-suite to be real. You have to be there. Before, you could hide behind all the company PR and blasting out a message. That was the term. They would blast out a message. And if you try to do that with social media, you will hurt yourself. Blasting out a message and not being real, not being transparent with people is a surefire way to shoot yourself in the foot. A better way is to say, let's have interaction. Let's talk about issues that are real and are of concern to our customers, to our stakeholders, whoever they might be. And we've got tools to do that, like Skype with a group video calling, like Google Plus Hangouts, and many other tools. So I'm not tied into any particular tool. I just think, hey, you want to connect with people. Fortunately, today, we have wonderful tools like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and others that are out there that you need to be aware of, find out what's happening, what's current, and then communicate empathy to those stakeholders and be there for them.
Yeah, one of the things that we emphasize very strongly with our company is the communication skills that so often are overlooked. And that's what we're talking about here. It's communications. It's the people skills. It's communicating a message to people so they'll understand, they will accept it, and they will follow you. It's leadership.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, that's one of the things I'm impressed, Bob, with you and Devi and the way that you do that at Aqqolade. You're right there. You're communicating as real people. You're reachable. You're the kind of people that say, yeah, we want to be there and help you. So thank you for doing that. And it's just the smart business move, not only just to be a decent human being, which both of you are in spades, but you also are there in business. And that ultimately reflects to that bottom line that you can help people, you listen to them, and you provide good value. It's one of the things we wrote about here. Shameless plug, our book Clout Matters, published by McGraw-Hill, talks about that. We found out, we went out to the Clout headquarters to say, okay, what do you do to get to do very well in Clout, to be successful? The key is engagement. Being there with people, not blasting a message like people think they would do in social media, but it's engaging with people, listening to them, and responding. Be there with people, help them. And it's a different way of doing things now. If a CEO who's listening to this hasn't figured it out yet, or says they're doing some things and they're stumbling, get the help on that. Get the assistance to learn what to do. And really, it's just being more human and helping people in a real constructive way.
Sure, it's the biggest step of realizing that there's an issue, there may be a problem, and that something has to be done to overcome it. Get over the ego, realize what you need, find help. We're here. That's what we're all about, too.
Absolutely. That's the key.
So, Terry, what types of devices and technology can people in the C-suite start to use to harness this power of social media?
Well, John, there's a lot of them out there, and it's really good to be alive. Matter of fact, Bob and John, I want to compliment both of you for choosing to be born at the right time. Because today, more than ever in history, we have the tools with a smartphone. Think about it. With a smartphone, one person can literally touch the lives of millions of people.
Well, when they gave us the choices, the Middle Ages was taken. So.
Yeah, that's right. The Middle Ages already taken, Plus the disease was bad. And dentistry, we won't even talk about that. Not a good thing back then. But today, it's much better because think about the ways that you can do it. Even 20 or 30 years ago, one person on a telephone could do a few things, but nowhere near what you can do today. So using that phone to send out messages, send out tweets can be very good. Using the portable technology, like, for instance, I love my tablet, right here. See, my iPhone or my iPad that I've got, this little tablet, I love this because it gives me the ability to stay in touch with people via not only text messages and email, but even more important, through video. I can send FaceTime messages, I can send video and connect with people. I particularly love reading the books that I can get on there and be up to date on new books, get them quickly within 60 seconds. If you say, Terry, you need to read about doodly-doo, it's really a good book out there, wonderful. I can bounce over to Amazon or bookseller of my choice, download it and read it. And I think those kinds of things are particularly good. But one that I'm really excited about, Bob, you and I know we've worked with this already, is a tool called Google Plus Hangouts. It gives you the ability to have your own television station with people connected around the world watching this over YouTube, and your cost is, well, zero, which is kind of nice. Bob, is zero in the budget for you?
Zero is very prominent in our budget, come to think of it.
Yeah, it's good. Free is nice. I like that.
And it works well.
Yeah, it does. And see, that's the key. It's not just a nice gizmo.
You can't beat that.
Yep, it's reliable, it works, and done the right way. I'm training a lot of people now on Google Plus Hangouts, how to use it, what to do, do it this way, tweak it this way, etc. It's a great little tool for sending out a message to your team. You want to send out a message out to the world and tell them about a new product? You've got a great way to do it. And it's a way that is more intimate because with some extra add-ins that you can put onto that, then you're able to have feedback from people all over the world. Unlike television, you can get instant feedback with people calling in, people doing this right away, and you can see the messages. You could then bring them on the screen if you wanted. Those types of things are now available as never before. So I would encourage CEOs and leaders around the world to study this technology, understand what's available, and then start experimenting with it. But
do you find that people are getting overwhelmed by the choices they have? Overwhelmed by the technology?
It can be overwhelming if you try to do everything. It's kind of like if you stand on the bank of the Mississippi River and then you see the water rushing by, you go, oh my goodness, I can't drink all that. Well, don't worry about that. Just take your little bucket, get one little bucket of the water, and then move it over to the side and work with that bucket. That's what you'll want to do. Find something that is going to work. Don't try to grab everything all at once, or it will be overwhelming. But instead, do it a little bit at a time, bite-sized pieces, and you'll be able to progress.
But what it sounds like is that people who are new to this who want to stick their foot in that water and fill up their bucket, they may need some guidance. They may need some help from somebody.
Yeah. That's a smart way to do it. Actually, when you think about it, if you're going to learn a new skill, a new language, or you're going to learn how to do so, I grew up in martial arts, and I actually worked my way through high school and undergrad school teaching martial arts. I find that by getting a good instructor, you can do it much faster. If you wanted to learn a language, with this much time, actually, notice my hands are off the screen here, this much time, you could probably do it, but if you can do it in this much time with an instructor, with a coach, with someone who can give you wise advice, it's money well spent. I love the way that Ben Franklin said it. He said, pour the coins of your purse into your mind, and your mind will overflow your purse with coins. And I think, yeah, that makes sense. Be willing to part with your time, money, and energy in order to get what you need. Hire people who are great, that know particular skills, and then you can do it. One of the nice things also about being alive today, because complimenting you two gents on being born at the right time, you're able to tap into those prominent experts around the world through something like Skype or Google Plus Hangouts. You can say, hey, Josh Schlemiel, you know how to do oodly boodlies, and I need to know about oodly boodlies. Well, I'll give you X dollars through PayPal. It clears, goes into your account, and next Tuesday at 3 o'clock, we're going to sit down and you're going to teach me how to do the oodly boodly thing, or whatever it is. It's wonderful to be alive today, and that's a resource that we can tap into.
Well, maybe we should be billing you as our social media sensei.
Ah, there we go. That sensei could be a good, I guess, kind of a social media sensei or teacher would be a wonderful thing.
There you go. Well, you're absolutely right. You can definitely accelerate the learning curve by bringing in someone who can help guide and also help you avoid missteps and gaffes and embarrassing things that, we've all seen those examples of companies that, take the wrong foot forward and, have to backtrack. But I think we'd all agree that doing nothing is just as bad as doing doing things wrong as well now, because people and companies are going to get left behind if they're not moving forward here.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I would agree with you and take it even farther, John. I'd say it's even worse than doing something bad. When you do something bad, you learn from it, as long as it doesn't kill you. I mean, our old buddy Nietzsche told us, that which does not kill me makes me stronger. And I think that's a good thing. So even if you have mistakes, that's okay. We learn. As long as it's not going to kill you, don't die. We do not recommend dying. Instead, get that instruction and do things the right way.
Although in some instances, it can be a very good career move.
It might for some. I don't know. Yeah. But what we'll say is get the instruction you need. Get the help that is out there, and do a lot of reading. I mean, for crying out loud, what are you doing? Just feeding your mind with junk from TV? I mean, that's a waste of time for so much of a sitcom or something. How is your life better, measurably better, after 30 minutes, an hour of watching junk and that pablum on TV? Instead, put your mind into something that's really good. Excellent magazines, quality books that are going to help you increase your marketable skills. Something that the market is looking for. The marketplace is saying, gee, we need coders, for instance. Right now, there's 3 jobs available for every 1 coder who's qualified. Learn that. It's just one example. Find something that people are going, wow, we really have a need for this, and we would pay somebody to do this. Well, put in the time, money, and effort. Learn how to do that, and then do it. But make sure you're learning those things that are valuable to the market. Not that you just think it'd be nifty and cool. I mean, I could become an expert on tsetse flies from the 15th century in Ethiopia. Wonderful. I'm sure that would be nice, but there's not a real big market demand for that. You want to learn something that people are going, wow, if only we could get somebody to help us with this, we'd be willing to pay for that and do it. Find those things and let that be what drives your time investment.
Great. Well, that's some great advice there, Terry. And
thank you.
We really want to thank you for joining us today. We've been talking with Terry Brock, social media sensei. I guess that's a new title.
I like that. Thank you.
We may have to make that stick. Yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
Author, speaker, and advisor to many different corporations and business leaders today. So,
international.
With that, we will say thank you, and we look forward to having you on again on the show.
Sounds good. John and Bob, thank you. It's an honor to be with you. And those that are listening, stay in touch with me right here at Aqqolade. You'll find out lots of information from me and others there. It's a good way to begin your learning process. Look at what is being said, follow the advice there, and you can get it. And it's in that free category, which again is good. Thank you very much for joining us.
Now, let me add before we sign off here that if you're interested and you found this a very good conversation with Terry, that Terry is available for engagements. We ask you to come to our website at Aqqolade.com, find out more about Terry, and see about having him come and talk to you in person.